Hey everyone, I am Ashley Boynton and this is the Campfire. We are done with all of the Houston area districts, but today we have a special playoff prediction episode for the Campfire. We're going to take a look at teams we feel might make runs in the postseason and the players that will help them do it. Let's start by looking at some of the dangerous Houston area teams in our film session.
In 6A, no team has been more dominant in the greater Houston area than North Shore. 3 state titles in the past 4 years has solidified this program as a dynasty. The Mustangs have an excellent chance for a repeat with sophomore quarterback Caleb Bailey back after winning state championship MVP as a freshman. Javian Anderson and Jacoby Davis will make the North Shore defense tough to throw against as well. Can't forget about Katy either. If the Tigers wind up in D2 again, they should be the favorite to make it to the state title. Seth Davis and his 2,400 yards rushing are back, and that should make the Tigers tough to beat. Those two will be the favorites in Region 3, but there are several other contenders for sure. Spring Westfield adds former Klein Oak quarterback PJ Hatter as their signal caller, and the Mustangs could go deep. Atascocita and Ridge Point are definitely tough outs as they are both extremely talented, but they have to get through North Shore to reach their championship dreams. In 5A, Houston's biggest threat in Division 1 are Crosby and Manville. The Cougars moved up to Division 1, but still have dual threat Kyron Miles at quarterback and should have the defensive talent to make another long playoff run. Manville has an experienced quarterback as well in Caden Smith that makes the Mavericks a contender. In Division 2, all eyes will be on Fort Bend Marshall. They were shocked at home in the first round last year, but Jacoby Banks and the Buffs refuse to let that happen again. Best Houston chance to advance far in the lower ranks has got to be El Campo. Ruben Owens is on the tip of everyone's tongues, and if he can continue to produce as he has been in the last 3 years, the Ricebirds could be playing deep in December.
Our Ward Fasol talked with Houston Chronicle reporter John Foreman about who he thinks might make some postseason noise in our district breakdown.
All right, it's district breakdown time. John Foreman joins me from the Houston Chronicle. We call it district breakdown, but we don't have any districts left. We've already broke them all down. We've already tapped into John's mind. He broke everything down for us, so we're good on that. But we would like to hear what you think about Houston area teams in the postseason and how far you think they might go. Let's start off with the private school ranks. Is there a couple teams that you think may have a good run at a state title in the private school ranks?
Yeah, there absolutely are. And I'm going to start with kind of my preseason number one team from the private school ranks in the Houston area, and that's Fort Bend Christian. They obviously made it to the TAP state semifinals last year. They came up short, 14-13 against Second Baptist, who I'll get to in a minute. But I really love what they have coming back with the quarterback wide receiver duo of Brady Dever and Brian Domino. Dever is just an outstanding player. He put up, some really gaudy numbers last year, and that offense is going to be scary with him leading the way again. Obviously they're going to be motivated. They're one step away from reaching that state championship game. And, I really like kind of that motivation that they're going to have coming back. That being said, you have Second Baptist with the bragging rights against Fort Bend Christian with that victory in the state semifinals. I think that they're gonna be a really good team as well. Again, they graduated some key pieces, but they're a program that is kind of built the right way to compete, be competitive every single year.
I appreciate you joining me this summer, and we will see you during the year.
Sounds good.
The guys had much more to say on their playoff predictions, and you can catch the entire district breakdown this Wednesday on our social media platforms. We've heard about the teams. Now let's take a look at some of the athletes to watch out for in the postseason and our players on the rise.
Katy Paetow got a nice surprise this offseason when 5-star David Hicks followed his father and transferred from Allen to Paetow. He was his district's defensive MVP and received all-state honors as the Beast, collected 22 tackles for a loss and 13 sacks during his junior year. Hicks, at 6'4" and 270 pounds, is nearly impossible to block one-on-one, which makes him a problem. DJ should make the Panthers a formidable foe in the postseason. Cy Ranch has some serious talent on the defensive side of the ball in defensive end Ashton Porter. A monster on the line, Porter finished his junior year with 44 tackles, 19 of those for losses, and 8 quarterback hurries. He also picked up 3 sacks and scored a defensive touchdown. Porter has help on the line as well, as they could help the Mustangs go far in the postseason. El Campo can make it far in the playoffs behind the nation's best running back, Ruben Owens. He's simply an unstoppable force in the backfield, as Big Rube rushed for just under 3,000 yards last year to go along with 46 touchdowns. By the end of the year, Ruben should reach over 8,000 career yards and over 100 touchdowns for the Ricebirds, and possibly get them to the state final. If Katie's to make another march to AT&T Stadium, they'll need a big postseason from running back Seth Davis. He may be undersized at 5'7", but it didn't stop him from rushing for almost 2,500 yards and 28 touchdowns. Davis has over 4,200 yards in his Katie career and is expected to eclipse 6,000 before he's done. Seth should be able to help the Tigers control the clock in the playoffs.
6A should be quite the battle in the Houston area, especially in Region 3. Our Ward Fussell caught up with Ridgepoint head coach Rick LaFavors to find out what teams he thinks might go deep in the playoffs in our Media Day segment.
All right, it's Media Day. It's our playoff prediction edition, and we are talking with Ridgepoint head coach Rick LaFavors. Coach, thanks for joining me. I know you hate doing this kind of stuff, looking way in advance, because it's you got to get through your 10 games first, but in our playoff prediction type deal, your team has taken that district the last couple of years now, and it looks like even though Bert Emanuel is somewhere else, you still have the tools to make this thing happen. Talk about some of your big time players that may push you into the playoffs, into the postseason.
Well, it starts with our defense. We have 8 returning starters, and our defensive line, 2 Power 5 guys, and DK Clue and James Eaglin, and our skill, speed, just overall familiarity with the defense. Anytime you have 8 returning starters on what I thought was a good defense last year, I think gives you a chance, especially at the line of scrimmage. So that's definitely going to be our strength as we begin the season. And then offensively, we have 5 returning starters and lots of team speed. And, so building off of last year, one thing that I've, I'm entering my 3rd season. One thing that I've, I guess, discovered, if you will, or come to the conclusion is, programs like the Katies and North Shores and the Atascocitas and Westfields and such, you lose a lot of seniors or lettermen, et cetera, each year. And you say, they're going to be down. They're going to rebuild. Kind of like North Shore. They lost a lot on offense the previous year, and everybody was kind of, there's the unknowns, but they just reload. And I think, for us to get to that point is as a program, we want to, even though you might not know the names, they were really good sub-varsity. They're really good backups. They just happen to be behind some really good players.
Hey, well, let's see if you can get past them juggernauts that got you last year from Atascocita, and I appreciate you talking with me, and good luck this season, Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Always a pleasure.
You can hear the entire interview with Coach LaFavors this Friday on our social media platforms. That's going to do it for this week's show. I've had a blast bringing you these district previews all summer long, but next week it's time for me to let Matt Musil take over as the season begins next Thursday. Be sure to catch Matt Saturday on KHU 11 at 11 p.m. for Chevrolet's Inside High School Sports. You can also keep up with everything on the high school football scene on our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram accounts. I'm Ashley Bullington, and thank you again for tuning in all summer. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for some football.